All right, program selection myths. We're going to jump right into this. I need to apply to 15 to 20 programs to have a chance to get into PT school. Baloney. Don't believe it for a second. So many applicants apply this way. I call it the shotgun approach. We need to be targeted. We need to be focused. We need to zero in on the programs we're going to apply to. Let's break this down though, just based off of cost. It costs $155 to apply to your first program on PTCAS. And every subsequent program that you apply to is an additional $60. So if you apply to 20 programs, that's almost $1,300 you're spending on just applying to programs. That's insane, right? So let's be smart, let's be targeted, and that number, that's just your PTCAS fees. That doesn't include like supplemental fees and different things like that. Okay. Another myth that I want to debunk right now. I will get paid more as a physical therapist if I attend one of the most highly ranked DPT programs. This is one of my biggest pet peeves with PT. Okay. So in the business world, if you go and you get an MBA degree, a Master of Business Administration from Harvard or Stanford, compared to, I live in Arizona, right? So if you go and I were to get an MBA from Arizona State University, which is still a good university, but it's not like a Harvard or a Stanford in terms of their MBA program. The people who go to Harvard and Stanford, they make $60,000 to $80,000 more than applicants from or graduates from other MBA programs. So that obviously makes sense that if you are going to go to Harvard or Stanford, you're going to make more money. That program is much more competitive and it's worth the investment you're putting in, right? But in physical therapy, that does not happen. It doesn't. So you can have University of Washington, St. Louis, University of Pittsburgh, University of Southern California, all these programs that are consistently like the top 1, 2, 3 programs ranked in the country. There is zero published evidence that if you go to these really highly ranked programs that are oftentimes extremely expensive, that you're going to make more money than someone who goes to a different program that's less well known. I promise you. I've checked. I've scoured the internet. We in America are just obsessed with like ranking systems, right? So if you go to like the US News and World Report, it's okay. You could use that. But a lot of times the factors that they're including for that ranking system are very arbitrary and it doesn't actually relate to your quality of life as an applicant. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what you should focus on when you're looking at programs. So if we look at, this is the most recent applicant data report. We're waiting for the applicant data report from the last cycle to come up. But this is from 2018, 2019, which is kind of old data, but either way, it kind of gives us a good picture. You're looking at right about 5 to 6 programs. If you round everything up, it's about 6 programs as the average number of applications to applicant. And that, to me, that's a good number. So here's what I want you to do. You're going to create a list of 10 to 15 programs of interest. And this way, a lot of times applicants, when I was working with them before, we were putting the cart before the horse. And we were saying, hey, we need to focus on your GPA, your GRE, all your observation hours. That's important. But if you know which programs you really want to apply to, and we're focusing your application on that, that is going to make things so much easier because we can tailor your application to be more specific to a smaller number of programs. So not only are you saving money with the number of programs that you're applying to, you're also saving yourself time and energy because you're not going to have to apply and write as many essays and different things like that. And you're being more focused. You're maximizing yourself as an applicant by saying, hey, these are the programs I'm the most competitive with. This is where I'm going to apply. Okay. So what things should you look for when you're considering a program to determine if it's a good value program? Okay. Inexpensive. By that, I'm meaning you have a low cost of tuition and the city that it resides in has a relative low cost of living. Then the next thing that you look at is a high NPTE first time pass rate. For me, that is, this is the national licensure examination. That percentage should be higher than 90%. The reason why you're going to physical therapy school is to get a license so you can practice. That's it. That's all that physical therapy school does for you. Yes, there's networking opportunities and there's different clinical rotations and things like that. And yes, those things are important. But I'm telling you guys, if you have your license and you have less debt, you are going to be setting yourself up to be in a better position than people who don't. And I know there's a lot of talk and hubbub about, hey, well, maybe they're going to cancel student loan debt. We don't know if that's going to happen. So please don't put yourself in a precarious situation by saying, oh, everyone has student loans. It's fine. It's no big deal, right? Physical therapists coming out of school are making $60,000 to $90,000 depending on the state and the setting that you work in, okay? If that number shocks you, I'm sorry, go and do some more research, right? But we're not coming out making buku bucks. It's a good living and you can make good money. But if your wages are being hampered by ridiculous student loan debt, effectively you're cutting your own salary, right? So set yourself up for success in the future. Focus on those things. Then after you've identified programs that have good high value in terms of high licensure, first time pass rate on the licensure and low cost of attendance, then you can look at, okay, let's compare the statistics of people who were accepted into this class most recently, which most programs will put like their GPA, their GRE, they may put observation hour averages. And then you can start to see, hey, I'm in the ballpark of this program. I should consider going here, right? And you have to remember, guys, those numbers are averages. Those are not cutoffs. Look at them as averages instead of being like, oh, if the average is a 3.6 and you have a 3.4, that doesn't mean people who have a 3.4 GPA did not get accepted there. It just means there's a variety, there's a range of applicants who got accepted. Because most schools are seeing now that you want to look at more than just GPA to determine if an applicant's going to be successful or not. I still argue that your GPA is the most important factor in the sense of it gives us the most data points over an extended period of time to see how you do academically, which is kind of important. They want to make sure that you can hang with your cohort while you're in school. So it's important, right? I have a YouTube series, which I'll include in the link that of the replay videos that you can watch. It's Where Should I Go to Physical Therapy School? It walks you through this process as if you have 0 programs of interest at all, right? It goes through, how do you start looking through this? And what are some tools that we have available to us to help us? It's extremely helpful. So that link will be in the replay email that's going to get sent out to you, in addition to some other information. Okay, so after you've identified these programs, these 10 to 15 programs, you're going to start to contact them and do your research and say, hey, these are my current statistics. How do I line up with your accepted classes? Do I have a chance in applying, right? And you're going to get a variety of different responses. Some schools may say, oh, we're not at liberty to discuss that with you. Other schools will be very transparent and they'll give you information and say, oh yeah, like you're in range with a lot of our applicants. So many applicants are scared to do this because they're afraid of rejection. But I promise you that this exercise of doing your research and then contacting programs based on what you find is extremely valuable and is going to help you so much in the long run. Eventually, we're going to narrow your list of programs down to 6 to 9 that you're going to apply to, so we can save you from spending, $1,300 applying to 20 programs. We can cut that number down significantly, and you can be more focused and targeted with applying that way.